This episode is brought to you by The Loop by Catholic Vote. What would happen if you lost your job today? How safe is your family if a recession hits and the layoffs climb? Join us as we talk about recession-proofing your income on today's episode of The Catholic Money Show. Oof, losing your job. Been there. Done that.
Did you get the t-shirt?
That was not part of the severance, actually. I just lost my job and all I got was this t-shirt.
There's probably a market for that. A little bit of a dark humor.
Yes, though I don't know if I would suggest a joke t-shirt purchase when losing your job.
Right. Anyway, we've been there. We've faced a job loss. If you know the origin story of how Wallowin even began, you know that it all began with a job loss.
It was
a sudden,
jump
unexpected
started
one.
by
Yes.
the sudden Friday afternoon conversation with the boss.
And we were a single income family.
Then we were a no income family.
Right. Right. Anyway, so we back into this episode really from the trenches of our own story because we jumped straight into entrepreneurship from a single income job loss. And that can sound really fun and really romantic. And many people over the years have just, been in awe and inspired about what we've been able to build and do and what God has brought forth from that job loss. And honestly, if you look back now, almost 8 years later, it's amazing. Mm-hmm. But it was not without major stress. It was not without us learning things the hard way. Mm-hmm. And certainly, if we could go back and redo things now, knowing what we know now, the beginning of our business would not have looked the way that it did.
And neither would my hair.
Neither would your hair.
It'd be a lot darker still, I think.
Right. Yes. So why we're talking about this is because the R word has been tossed around a lot lately.
Rotisserie.
Rotisserie, exactly. That Costco rotisserie chicken. They're putting it in a bag now instead of that
won't they?
bin. Commit to this term.
We'll have to see.
The R word being
Recession.
Recession.
Of course.
Yes. And when recessions happen, one of the consequences of that typically is that job losses begin.
Sure. Yeah. There's job losses go up, unemployment goes up in a recession, and through that also concurrently spending goes down, which then means businesses make less money, which means they can't pay as many people, so there's more job losses, so they have less money, so they can't. It can get pretty bad.
It can be kind of a intense cycle, and I'm sure you can imagine, your income, drying up overnight, but another tricky consequence of a recession can also be things like inflation or decreased wages or the loss of bonuses or pay increase pauses. There can be sneaky little ways that it kind of creeps in on you where the income you had is all of a sudden stagnating, or actually it's a net decrease as the years go by and inflation happens. We, of course, saw this happen in the last few years as well. And so when a recession is looming, or there's talk of it coming, or we know it's going to come, or we're in the middle of it, what we need to do as prudent, good stewards of the money entrusted to us and, of our very lives, the resources God is giving us and our families, is we need to work on protecting our income. Of course, from making sure it doesn't vanish overnight. If it does, we have some strategies for that. But we also want to protect it from being picked at from 1,000 angles, rendering it lifeless compared to the needs that we have. And I think a lot of people, again, they can relate to that feeling. Inflation over the last few years, shrinkflation, all the flations that happened, it was death by 1,000 cuts. And all of a sudden the income that was strong 5 years ago looked weak and was not going very far. So if we are going into a recessionary cycle, that is only going to get worse. It's only going to be magnified. And so right now is the moment to actually begin doing things to strengthen your position so that you don't end up in a tough spot.
Yes.
The things John and I wish we would have known going into entrepreneurship and facing a job loss. It wasn't because of a recession, but these skills and tools are helpful no matter what.
Sure. And the first one is having your budget locked in. Budgeting, no matter what, is an essential skill. Recession, whatever the opposite of a recession is, good times, job loss, having a job, being hired, getting a promotion, doesn't really matter. You need to know how to budget. But I'll say, wow, when there is a threat to your income, you really need to know how to budget.
Yes.
Because you really got to make sure you're able to know what's happening with your money, where you want it to go, where you can be creative with it, clever with it, and make things work for you. So you've got to have that budget in place. Or you might not make it out of this thing. You're going to get wrecked without the budget. It's like the oxygen mask in a plane, right? It drops down, you put it on, and now you can figure out the other things you have to do in order to make it through this.
Exactly.
So you can do this thing. You don't have to wait for everything to go crazy in order to start budgeting, in order to really lean into budgeting, in order to be a master at budgeting. You don't have to wait for a recession to do this. I mean, I would say
get started.
If you're not now, maybe now. Go for it.
And what do you mean by budgeting? Sometimes people think they're budgeting, but really they're just putting some numbers on a piece of paper and then doing whatever they want all month.
Or
it's not a budget.
I'm budgeting, which is code word for just saying no to the fun. And I guess spending on everything else. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. So budgeting is you sit down with, piece of paper,
an app,
spreadsheet, if that's how you think, and you write down or type in how much money you have, and then you plan out where you're going to spend that money. This much is going towards the mortgage. This much I'm going to go use to get food. This is paying for insurance, etc. And you have your plan. So then as you're going through and you're making that grocery trip, all right, well, I can buy this food and be able to turn on the gas at home and cook it.
And you're doing this monthly.
Yes.
And the idea is, and I'm teasing this, you don't actually know what I'm trying to get out of you, but I know what I want you to say. So I'll just be fair to you and actually come in and say it.
If this could only happen more often.
So you are sitting down every single month to make a plan.
Yes.
There's no one and done budget. There's no create it once and then it's forever and for always. You're doing this custom every month. Now, there's certain things that stay the same.
Yeah, but
then you kind of hinted at, you're using it to inform your purchase decisions before you go into the store. It's giving you peace of mind to know that different dollars have different jobs. But then there's also that element of you're using it through the month and you're tracking your spending.
Of course.
And you're making sure it matches your bank account. You're kind of going through the whole process. A lot of people think they're budgeting, but they are not budgeting. They're writing numbers down on a sheet. They're plugging numbers into a spreadsheet. They're putting numbers into an app. But then for all intents and purposes, this thing is worthless because they're not checking it throughout the month. They're not syncing it with their bank account or actually inputting the purchases that they're making. They're not seeing that actually happen through the month, and then they're not making sure it's reconciled to their bank account. If you don't see it through to the end, you are not budgeting. And I'm not saying this to discourage anybody, but I'm saying if you aren't doing that entire process month in and month out, right now is when you need to actually learn that. The whole process, not just how to put numbers down on a sheet.
Yes. When I was younger, I thought, I haven't done it yet, so maybe I'm tempting fate. I thought, you know what? I should learn. I thought these two things. I should learn to write with my left hand in case something happens to my right hand and I'll just be ready to go. I also thought I should learn Braille in case something happens to my eyes. And because it's probably a lot easier to learn it. Like, you can still see kind of some other stuff.
Creating redundancies.
Yeah, but I still haven't done anything. I don't know either of those things. So hopefully I don't smash my hand into my eyes anytime soon or we're in trouble. But it's a whole lot easier to learn how to budget and start doing all of that than it is learning Braille or writing with your other hand.
Sure. And it's easier to do it when you're not up against a wall.
Oh, yes.
With a load of stress.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say that is one of the things to our advantage, you know, when we did go through that job loss and we did go into zero income and have to trust that God will provide one for us out of thin air.
Mm-hmm.
We were locked in on that budget, and we had been for years.
Yes.
I think is the only way we stayed in business long enough for it to actually get wind in its sails to take off.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were many months there where we were waiting on that profitability to come in, and it just took time.
Absolutely.
If we didn't have that budget locked in, see you later, wallet win. Would never have happened.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next.
Yes.
The next thing that you can do to recession-proof your income is to have a really good grip on understanding your needs versus your wants. And I bring this up because, you know, the threat during a recession is that your income could disappear without your control, or you could lose that buying power with the income that you have coming in, right? After budgeting, that first line of defense is a solid grip on your needs versus your wants. Now, this is not saying that it needs to be all about the needs and that you can't fund any wants in your life if there's a recession, but it's acknowledging that in vulnerable times, needs take precedence. And if you can't streamline your budget down, you won't have as long of a runway as you could need.
So whether it's a recession or any other crisis, you should be able to take 10 minutes, sit down with your budget, and just without any drama, go through and just know which categories are needs and which are wants. And then I'd say from there, you can even look through those needs and prioritize them, maybe go into some of the transactions that kind of go underneath there. You know, again, food is a need. Steak dinner, maybe not a need. But of course, you're finding that balance. We're not just going to eat ramen for 3 months.
No, right.
But, you know, so you can go through at that point and then sift it out, right? Prioritize things. And so, you know, okay, we got to tighten that belt. And it's really easy. Just go, all right, we're not doing this, or this. Done. Move on to the next thing.
Yep. You're prioritizing the needs and then choosing if you want to fund some of the wants, which ones you're going to prioritize above others, which ones maybe give you the most bang for your buck.
Yeah.
You're only going to do 1 or 2 wants instead of 10. Okay, which ones actually give us that boost in our life that make us feel like things aren't that tight? I do remember when we were, you know, in that really no income coming in stage, we still got seltzer water. 1 case of seltzer water.
Yeah.
You know, a month. Now it's like 1 case a week.
A case a day habit.
No, but with our family now drinks it. So, you know, we go through it a lot more, but and obviously we have an income now, so it's not as big of a deal, but we kept that in there because it made us still feel like we had a little bit of life when so many other things were sidelined.
Yeah, and it only cost us 23 cents a can.
Yep.
So it's nice and easy. A little cheap pop to our day.
Yes. Now, again, this is a prudential decision that you're going to be making. You know, I'm not going to sit there and tell you these are the things in your budget that are needs and these are wants. That's going to be a unique thing for you, your individual or your family needs, your personalities, etc. But again, this is something you want to discern, but you would preferably do it before a crisis would hit. Because again, you had mentioned without drama, because crisis could come up. If you're married, you come to the budget, and then it could be a knockdown drag out on what's a need, what's a want. But if you could already both agree on that, not in a crisis moment, well, then now this is easy. We already know that the budget is already operating at this level. And then in times of crisis, we downshift, and we already know that all these things here disappearing, downgrade. Now we're not having a fight about it.
I'd say even if you're not married, it's really helpful to know this, because then, one, it's just quick, it's easy, it's painless. But I think, and then you could go further if you need to in that particular situation that might come up. But you also then don't risk going too far and thinking, I just got to cut everything. I'm just going to eat cereal and ramen noodles and maybe steal some ketchup packets from Burger King. You know,
your playbook when you were single.
Well, when you're broke, you're broke. But so it helps you kind of not go too far. Because if you were really almost being scrupulous about needs, it's like, well, okay, then I'm just going to eat the plainest,
crust of bread,
you know,
cup
like
of water.
In quotes, nutrition that I could find, you know, like that's all I need, you know. So it helps you not to overreact, because maybe that's where you might go if that's your personality might be prone to that in this kind of crisis, high stakes situation. So it's a good set of guardrails. Wow, guardrails. You're rubbing off on me. Guardrails, I think, for pretty much anybody to have. So it's very good. Yeah, have that budget again. Just like you're developing that budgeting muscle now, early, before anything hits, so you're there and you can lift it up when the time comes and you really need it. Same thing with identifying needs and wants.
All right, let's get to the juiciest part of this episode.
Ooh, tell me.
The juiciest part. And this part's my favorite. And I prepared this section. So you don't actually know what I'm going to be sharing in this next part. We're going to talk about creating various streams of income. Just the idea of we're not just putting all our eggs in one basket. We want to have multiple ways that we earn money.
Oh, yes, of course.
And we had to learn this the hard way, especially entrepreneurs. This is doubly important, critical to your business's survival, is that you have other sources of income. But I would say for even the average bear out there, it's become more of a necessity to have even, I'm about to share here, scroll down so I can see how many, we're going to share 15 sources of income, 15 streams that our family uses to earn money in the last 18 months. I could have gone deeper into our past, and I could have probably had 30 things. But this is the stuff that we do more on a regular basis now in the present moment. All right. I'd say the average person out there, you're not an entrepreneur, you have a 9-to-5. In a recessionary time, you just don't know. Either you could lose an income, or it could be, again, picked away. And having one or two extra sources of income coming into your family, I'm not saying this is a side hustle. Some of these things can be fairly passive, but having one or two other outlets to kind of help is really important, because think of a pogo stick. How long can you stay standing on that thing?
Oh,
bouncing around.
Still,
or just upright.
Actually just doing it. It takes work.
Takes a lot of work.
I mean, if it's me, like 2 bounces.
Yeah, right. But even somebody who's really good at it, they're going to tire out quickly. It's going to be very hard to stay upright for a very long amount of time. It's just more difficult. Think of a ladder, a little more stability, right? You got 2 legs, but you're still a little bit at risk because you could go one direction or another. I'm not talking about the one that has the 4 legs, the 2-legged ladder.
Just like an extension ladder, just a straight ladder. Yeah.
Yeah. Clark Griswold one. Solid, more solid than the pogo stick.
Yes.
But we're still at risk here. Think of a stool, a 3 to 4 legged stool.
Oh, yeah.
Now that's not really going anywhere. You sit on it, it's pretty solid, pretty sure, pretty steady. So that's what I'm kind of arguing for here. I want to encourage people to think of varied streams of income that are going to help keep the ship steady in choppy waters. So 1 or even 2 of your sources of your income could get erased, but you could still be okay. Or at least have something coming in rather than zilcho like our family did.
Yeah, and if you have something, again, it's not like you'll be, lost my job, didn't even notice. That's not what's going to happen.
No.
But these are going to make it so, lost my job, didn't have to eat the dog. Like,
or just okay, great.
You're not freaking out so much.
a couple of months to get organized.
Yeah,
and to figure out something.
The
new.
hole is not as deep.
Mhm.
You've got some room to maneuver and to stretch out, what you've got in your rainy day fund, because you still do have some income that you can have coming in your way, even if the main source has dried up.
And now since, our family has 15 different sources of income,
Ooh.
many could dry up, but we would still have so many other levers to pull.
Mm-hmm.
And many of them, they could actually be increased if we wanted to put more time into them.
I was going to say, that's what's great having these, because it could be something where, all right, yeah, maybe you do it a little bit here and there and you make some bucks, but you know how to do it.
Yeah.
So now if the time comes, you need it to perform and you have a little bit more time on your hands now. All right. You can lean into it more.
Exactly.
You can kind of ramp it up a little bit and it will produce more.
Right. Instead of going on some learning curve, which is going to, again, take months to get off the ground and launched. We're going to reveal the 15 sources of income that the Texeras have after the break.
Trying to stay informed about the news but just ending up frustrated? Try checking out Catholic Vote's The Loop. It's a free daily news feed email delivered straight to your inbox every morning. It's got the most important headlines, short news summaries, and also the best of Catholic blogging and social media, the saint of the day, daily scripture readings. It's got it all, and it's all from a 100% Catholic perspective. The Loop is great because they do all the hard work of sifting through everything and bringing you the most important headlines, so you don't have to spend hours scrolling yourself. Did I mention it's free? I love free. You love free. So what are you waiting for? Become a Looper now. Sign up for The Loop today. Head on over to gettheloop.com and sign up now. That's gettheloop.com.
Welcome back to this episode of the Catholic Money Show, where we are talking about recession-proofing your income. In the first part, we discussed how locking in that budgeting strategy is key and essential to doing that. The second part is knowing how to differentiate and distinguish between your needs and your wants. And then the third part, the juiciest and my favorite, is talking about creating a variety of income sources to stabilize yourself, your family, so that when choppy waters come, the ship can continue sailing onward in a relatively stable manner. And I had revealed that I looked at our budget over the last year and I saw 15 different ways that we made income. And nobody think we have 15 full-time incomes coming in here. Okay? That would be a complete misrepresentation of that number. One of them, obviously, was the bulwark of our income. And the rest of them, they kind of varied. Some were really small, some were more medium, and then some were larger. Okay. All right. I'm going to go through them and I'm going to list them and then we'll kind of talk about it.
Like you'll bring up one and then we chat about it. You'll bring up the other and we'll chat about it.
Yeah, because you don't know the list.
No.
I did the research.
Do it.
Okay. First one, this is no secret, renting our house out on Airbnb.
Oh, yes, of course. Classic.
Tried and true.
Classic move for us.
Been doing it since before it was popular.
Yeah, long time.
I think, 2017 was the first time?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, and I think we just calculated up recently. I think we just passed over the 40,000 in earned income since 2017.
Lifetime.
Okay, go ahead and do the math
income.
on that.
Yeah.
This is not some high amount per year, but it offsets the travel that we do and the fun things we do as a family. And we usually are out going on adventures or making memories or taking a family vacation during that time. So
yeah. So that's how, especially how we use it now. To kind of fund the fun things.
Let's talk about how we used it in the first year of Wallet Win.
I was going to say, in the past, and what you might do in a situation that we're talking about is we used it to generate income. So we would rent out the house, and I don't know any of the numbers. We rented out the house. Let's say it was, what was it, like $300 a night, maybe? And then
$200 to $300 a night.
Yeah, and then we would stay somewhere else, hotel.
My parents.
Yeah, your parents a time or two. Yeah.
Mostly cheaper hotels that we would figure out.
And then that was, maybe $100 a night or something. All right, you do that a weekend, just made $400.
Yep.
A 3-day weekend, you made $6.
Yep.
Do that a couple weekends of the month. it can add up, and that's what we did. It
is.
It helped us through.
In our normal life now,
we
Airbnb maybe 5 or 6 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about where we like to have it. It's my excuse to get a cleaning crew into my house, get things, from getting overwhelming. But yes.
And usually we're going on a trip, so we might as well get some money in while we're away.
Yeah, the first 18 months of Wallet Win's existence, our house was just up on Airbnb, available at any given moment.
Oh, sure.
And I think we took as many bookings as we could. I wasn't maybe up all the time, but I would say we probably hosted 10 to 15 times a year.
Yeah.
A lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And so of that 40,000 we've earned, I wouldn't be surprised if like 20K of that wasn't that first year and a half of Wallet Win's existence because we needed that lever to perform.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really helpful. It can be that funder for some of maybe the more fun things. But again, if you've got needs that you need to pay for, all right, you figure it out, and it's a way to earn some income.
Yeah. Yep. Bada bing, bada boom. All right. Second, this one's almost laughable.
Which one is it?
Outdoorsy.
Oh,
now,
so the Airbnb for campers.
Yes, and honestly, the camper we used to have was vintage.
It was old.
In 1994, it was a pig with lipstick. It was a pig with lipstick.
It was a pig with really messy lipstick.
It wasn't like Joanna
lipstick
Gaines
on its
had
teeth.
done a renovation. It was it was horrible, but somehow, we eked out, I want to say $800 or $900 of rental income on that thing. And we always got 5 stars. People were just so generous. Now, this is going to be, this will continue to be a source of income for us because we need to do a whole podcast episode on this. Yeah. We talked about it in the past. We just purchased another new to us RV.
It is not a 1993.
It's a 2018.
Yeah.
So a lot newer. Just
a whole lot less mold.
A lot more roadworthy. No mold. We love it. She's a beaut.
She is a beaut.
And we are planning on using her for the next several months. But then come spring of 2025, that baby is going on outdoorsy. So this stream of income is going to go up for us.
Yes.
And we have kind of a couple different tiers of goals of what we would like it to do. Obviously, the absolute minimum would be pay for itself as far as the cost of ownership and maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it goes beyond that, that would be amazing. But we're just in the first year of its life. It's all about let's just hope this thing covers itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But we made money on outdoorsy with the old 1993 mold, mouse infested.
At times, mouse
ant infested.
At times.
Yeah, I know. Not when people were renting it. We took care of those problems.
So.
When we were renting it, that's when the mice.
When we were using it, that's when the mice showed up.
Anyway, but we made money on that.
Yeah, I guess we did.
And it helped to wet our feet for going and getting a much newer, much more rentable RV because we just really, really liked the process.
Bingo.
Yeah. And our thought also, if anybody's curious about this strategy, in a recession, a lot of people go back to that 2008 housing crisis recession that we had. Mm-hmm. And you'll see kind of the RV movement now of like full-time families that are living on the road and going on adventures. It really was born out of that recession.
Interesting.
So if we do go into a recession, well, one, camping is going to become a lot more popular because some people, that's going to be the home that they choose. Mm-hmm. They don't want sticks and bricks and, to have to buy some really expensive home at a really high interest rate. They're going to choose something else.
Yeah.
And then if we are in a recession, people that can normally afford higher end vacations, the Disney Worlds, the all-inclusives, they're going to downgrade into camping. And so there's really a lot of good market potential for something like an outdoorsy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, this one kind of surprised me. We got dividends from our passive real estate ownership.
Real estate ownership.
We do. We have, there's something called Arrive Homes.
Oh, yeah. I remember you talking to me about that thing.
Yes. We invested in this a few years ago, right when they got started. And we didn't make anything for a little while.
Yeah.
But then we've been getting dividends this year.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, that's neat.
Yeah.
We own what, like a
we own a couple shares
of a apartment building or something like that.
Yeah, essentially they go and they buy homes or build homes and then they rent them to renters.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so we're part of that.
So we probably we own that little spot underneath the coffee table or something.
Right.
Awesome.
So off of the monthly rent that the tenant is paying, the Texeras get our chunk.
Neat.
Yeah. And the home value is going up too. So when they sell the home eventually,
we get a piece of that too.
Exactly. So,
hey,
we're making, talk about passive. That one really is. That's, I'm not going and cleaning the house. I'm not knocking on the door and asking the tenant to
pay their bill,
do this or that. No, this is 100% passive. So you're going to get a little bit of a less of a return than if it was your own rental property. But I'm not doing anything. I'm the silent partner and I'm just getting money. So that one's nice. The next one is taxable investment income. That's not retirement accounts.
Sure.
Yeah. So we've been getting, dividends from or earning interest.
Yeah. I don't know if we've sold too many things, but again, that's something to maybe look into. These are sometimes some things you're like, oh, maybe I did buy some stock back then when I heard a thing about that. And it's one of those times it's kind of like, just double check your stuff. Maybe you've got, $1,000 in something. Oh, now might be a good time to sell when you need the money.
Right. Yeah. I remember, I think when we were getting out of debt, you remembered that you had a really horrible investment. What was it?
Oh.
You'd gotten like what were those old things?
Well, I know. I don't know maybe what you're talking about, or I can't remember it. But when I wanted to buy the engagement ring for you,
I think this was it. Okay, it wasn't getting out of debt. It was the engagement ring.
I won a $500 savings bond. In sixth grade.
Yeah.
For some essay I wrote. And I was like, oh, I think I still have that.
Cash it in.
I cashed that sucker in, and I think it had matured to full amount, and then maybe a little extra because I had forgotten about it.
Yeah.
And then I went straight to
it's like $1,000 or something.
Something. Oh, I don't know if it was that much, but yeah, I went right to the ring. I was like, oh, well, all right. I guess it floated it. So maybe you've got something like that bumming around in your back drawer or something.
Yeah. So we earned money that way as well. All right. Number 5, we got cash back or, and different things that we use like Rakuten or Top Cashback. We get cash back from that, like checks from that. And I put under the same category rebate checks to use at Costco. Because we do have the Costco credit card. And when we shop at Costco, we put our purchases on that. And mostly for the gas. And especially now that we have an RV again, I mean, the gas that we're
getting 5% on lots of gas.
It's a lot of gas. So it just makes so much sense for us to have that. I think already this year, and we've put a lot of, if we do any travel, we usually put it on there too, because I think you earn 3%. And it comes with the trip insurance.
Get some trip insurance and things like that.
We do put some travel on there. So already this year, I think we're over halfway in the year, but we, I think, have $500 to Costco or something around there. So I'm excited to use that. But the Texeras never use it in any fun way.
We
never use it in a fun way.
And it's like, they make it look like a check, but you can't cash it. You can get it's a gift card to Costco.
But instead of us going and buying some really fun
here's this
thing,
money. Yeah, we don't buy.
We just go get our normal groceries.
The trampoline or the whatever it is. We wouldn't even buy one of those. But we don't buy the phone. We don't get.
We get meat. We get groceries. We get.
We don't even like. Yeah, don't even like stock at the bar or anything. It's like nothing fun.
Maybe this year
we splurge and get a pack of socks.
Listen, no. But in a time like this, like let's talk about
if that that's
hey,
gonna
if we
be
really
like
are
your
in
best
recessionary
friend.
times,
If that rebate or whatever they call it check hits when you like need income, here we go.
you're gonna make that thing stretch.
You're of course you're not gonna be buying, you know, the
Advent wine calendar.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. You're going to actually get like the stuff that you need. So it can be a big help.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Next, this one is a little bit bigger than the last one. Affiliate marketing. I mean, everybody knows what this is nowadays. Essentially, it's just, when you make recommendations to, hey, get this purse, or hey, get these sheets, and here's my promo code. Oftentimes it gives the buyer a perk.
Mm-hmm.
But then you, as the affiliate, will just kind of get a shake on the hand, a pat on the back. You know, sometimes it's as small as
you get a couple bucks,
couple pennies, couple bucks. But then sometimes, you know, we are affiliates for kind of other business owners as well, and sometimes the commissions can be a little bit higher, and we offer bonuses, and we offer things to kind of go along with that. So then the commission check we're going to get, you know, maybe we'll give a coaching session or something because it would cover that, compensate our time.
Mm-hmm.
So this does tend to be a bigger source of our income, but
no, I'm just thinking through here, you know, to you listening to this. I mean, if you do have a big old email list, great, lean into it. But I'm trying to think, how can you like not that we're irregular, like a regular schmo, like do this. I think
this is available to anybody.
I mean, we
now.
see it. You think, oh, that's just like online marketing. It's all over the place.
Yeah,
no,
if
it's
you
not
buy
gonna,
something
it's
from
not
an
gonna
Etsy
like,
shop or
it's probably not
a
gonna,
Shopify store,
yeah,
you're going to get the invitation to become an affiliate.
Yeah, it's probably not gonna be, you know, paying all your bills or anything. But hey, you share a link to something that you bought, and now you got like $25. Like that's $25,
right?
Or you can use it now. Great. Hey, now I got the, you know, $25 store credit or whatever to this coffee or whatever. Well, now again, this is maybe going back to earlier. Well, now you can use that to buy that fancy coffee or whatever, and now maybe you're not feeling quite so desperate in the mornings when you're just sipping on that instead of the Folgers. So it's one of those it can still be helpful.
Yeah, I'm not saying some of these income streams that we have are very insignificant.
Yes,
but again,
it's
it's
fun
a
to
lever
see
that
how
you can
many
always ramp it
are
up to the
going
degree
on.
that you want.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So yeah. All right, next up. The last one might have sounded fancy, but don't be fooled. The Texera's made money reselling thrift store items and dumpster dive finds.
Bingo, baby. I'm telling you. There's part of me that's like, well, if everything goes belly up, I'm just going to go to the dumpsters. And that'll be our full-time income.
100% hands down. Jonathan and I have such a knack for this. We could create a multiple six-figure business, thrift storing and dumpster diving. 100%. I'm just not passionate about that.
It's
but
fun.
We're really good at it. We're really good at it. And we do it because it's really fun, but we obviously control the amount of hours that we do. Yeah. We don't go
most of the time.
We don't go sort. Well, I don't know. Yeah, we used to have an excuse to go to the thrift store.
We went past an awesome thrift store
every
twice
Thursday.
a week, and one of the days we got 30% off. So it was.
Yeah, now we don't really have that built in, so we've kind of paused.
Yeah, we have. It
really makes me sad. Having it in our life actually makes me. It's a hobby.
Oh yeah.
You know how people derive joy in a hobby? It just makes me happy. It brings me to life. It's a hit of dopamine. Something we're good at. Yeah, we should schedule one a trip soon but we still kind of have a little bit of an inventory.
We do have some inventory we got to move.
Backload that we need to move.
Yeah. But
this one would be if everything went belly up, we would be excellent at ramping this one up.
Yeah, it's fun. And I think have we done an episode on this?
I think so. I'm
We've
assuming
done something.
we have.
I don't know. Maybe it was for Inside Catholic Money Academy, or I
I'm
don't know.
still making money off that shapewear I bought.
Ooh,
I
yeah,
bought-
man.
I bought just
Like
as an
45
example,
of them or something?
I bought 45 or 50 of these brand new Honey Love tank tops at the thrift store on the 20% off day. And I got them for maybe $3 each.
Yeah.
And I've been selling them anywhere from $45 to $65.
Because what, they're usually like 90
80,
bucks or
89,
something? Yeah.
80, $90. Yeah. So we have made thousands at this point
Yeah,
off
that's
of those
awesome.
tank tops.
Somebody's like, oh, all right, we'll list a couple of those tank tops.
Yeah. Oh, things are feeling tight. List a tank top. I think we're down to our last 10.
Yeah.
But I do need to move that inventory, create some more listings.
Yeah, that's a goodie. And then, I mean, yeah, and the dumpster finds. Oh, I love
You're
selling
so
a
good
dumpster
at that.
find.
Yeah. We're really, you're good at that.
That's my
But then it makes me
specialty.
angry at what people throw
That
away.
I was thrown away in the first
Instead,
place.
this should have been a curb alert. This should have been put into a buy nothing group.
Yeah, man.
Like,
the old
there were
curb alert.
People that needed this or
Ugh.
people that could have sold it, that really, really did need the income. I'm not saying the Texeras didn't need it. We find a way to put it to use, obviously. But it's just an epitome of waste.
Mhm.
I cannot stand people literally just throwing away resources. Can't stand it. Can't stand it.
We have talked about this because I talked about this, the burden of seeing the value.
Oh, right.
Oh.
Yes, that is hard.
Okay, here
All
we
right,
go.
next up. Selling personal items at consignment sales or on eBay or on Facebook Marketplace.
Okay.
Similar, but these are not things that we're flipping from the dumpster or the
Yeah,
thrift
yeah,
store.
yeah.
This is
Personal
Oh.
item means it's a thing that we own.
like, hey, we're just done with that cell phone and we're gonna get a new one.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna sell this on eBay or I'm gonna sell it on Marketplace.
we want to get a new table or whatever, so we're going to sell this one.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we do a decent bit of that throughout the year.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, just stuff we're not using or stuff I've decided we don't need anymore.
It's like, oh, we always get this and that. There's a way certainly to fall into it where it's very materialistic and very like into like the stuff. I always got to get a new thing. On the flip side, though, or the other way of doing it is if we are holding the things of this earth loosely. Sure. I don't really need that right now, or I'd rather have this other thing. Well, I can get the money for that if I get rid of this other one. And you can just move things more easily if we're holding on with a light touch. I think that's why we're able to do this. What seems like maybe more often than others.
Sure. I'm also just constantly ready to throw away half the house.
Yes, that's true. That helps too.
I hate clutter.
That helps too.
I hate mess. And if something gets in my way enough, I want it gone and I'm going to sell it.
Mhm.
And so a lot of times it's like, kids' items, toys, things that they've just tired with. Well, you know what? I'm putting that in the kids' consignment sale because we don't need that anymore. And I've tripped over it 1,000 times. Nobody's putting it away. And so bye-bye. I'm either donating it or I'm going to sell it if it still has some value left in it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Next up is, you know what? I realized I had a duplicate. This is where I put cashback apps like Rakuten or Top Cashback. I think earlier when I mentioned Costco, it was just the Costco rebate money.
Just that cash back.
Yeah. I think you get two different kinds. Or is it the same cashback? And anyway, we don't need to go into Costco's thing, but this is where if you shop online, very easy to put in the browser extension for Rakuten, or you can go to, so Rakuten is a browser extension that you can like turn on when you're shopping at not Beauty Counter. What's that? Ulta. And it'll sometimes give you 5% cash back or 8% cash back, or if they're running some sort of a special, 15%. And you'll just get that in a check, in the form of a check. Quarterly, they send those out. Top Cashback is another one where you have to go to their site and you look for the item and you kind of access it that way. And so those Lego roses you guys got me for Mother's Day.
We got you, yeah.
I bought those on Top Cashback, and then they gave me a check to cover the purchase. So we got them for free.
The whole thing?
The whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah, we got them for free.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah. So I was testing it out. And I think you had done it in the past, but our account had kind of gone defunct. So I resurrected it. Anyway, we'll link to those in the show notes for you to go and get started with those. And I think it's one of those things where if you do use our affiliate link, you get some sort of an extra perk. Like if you just go there yourself, you ain't getting nothing.
This gives you a little extra boost or something.
But if you go through like a friend, it'll give you like $5 extra.
There we go.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those things usually change. So
they do. They cycle in and out.
Depends when you click it.
Yeah. Okay. Next. Speaking gigs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This one's kind of probably a bigger source of our income. Virtually and in person, or I would also add to this MC.
Yes.
You've MC'd many different events.
Yeah.
In the last year and a half. But yeah, these are fun things that we do. We don't take a ton on.
Yeah. And I'd say before you think, oh, well, you have like this podcast and a book. That MC job that you're talking about that I've been doing for years. It was before Wallet started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's just because you're
I was just doing like some fun stuff online. Yeah. And somebody just, I don't even know. She just, contacted, hey, could you do this thing? I saw these like videos you'd put on Facebook. I was like, okay. At least somebody's seeing them, I guess. But it's been a blast. Yeah. I do that event every year and it's fun.
Yeah. You've done other ones too.
Yeah. But that's like the one. Yeah.
The one that started you emceeing.
It's true.
Well, maybe you were you done.
Oh no, I did some stuff, but
anyway, speaking. We like speaking.
Mm-hmm.
This one might be my favorite. I mean, if we didn't, I'd do this even if we weren't getting paid. But now we're finally getting paid. Voice acting.
Oh yeah, well I did it certainly plenty enough without getting paid in the early days.
Yeah, voice acting. This one's so fun. Now, I have been told that this could be a lever if all went belly up.
If we needed it.
If everything went belly up. I have been told so many times that my voice is so soothing.
Have a nice voice.
It's a soothing voice, a calming voice. I could probably learn how to become a voice actor and get some sort of some gigs, reading meditations or, putting people to sleep or something. Something like that. Now, that's not how we use it.
No.
We use it in a very specific way. Mm-hmm. And yes, we didn't used to get paid for it, but now we do get paid for it.
Yes, now they pay.
A little bit. So
it is something though. I thought like, because this is a dream job for me. This is what I wanted to do when I was a kid. I wanted to be cartoon voices.
Really?
Absolutely.
Oh.
So this is so fun. So, but it's made me think, could I keep going? Could this be a thing? It's like I have that one acquaintance. I don't know if they remember who I am, but they do write episodes and produce a show,
a cartoon
on Disney. I wonder if I could reach out to them. But then I'm like, but I have to be in the union, and it's like, But it's like, if I needed to, I'd try to pull any lever I could
to make that one work.
Once I got that one, I mean, it'd be so fun.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see if the Lord is calling us to it.
And it's fun to use. Yeah. We do a little bit of that.
Okay. Next, number 12, selling salsa and elderberry syrup.
Ooh, another one that, if the internet stopped and we couldn't do Wallet Win, this is another one to because we've tried all these different things. And this is one that's a kind of an identifiable, plow really some time, a little bit of money into it, and we'll get some income for sure. Oh,
I tell John all the time that his salsa could be in Costco. It could be in Costco.
It's
so good. But we just don't feel called to act on that right now.
Maybe soon though.
Who knows?
I don't know. I'd like to see.
It is that good. We could be a brand in Costco.
It's so good.
I guarantee it. It is so good. We locked in that production and got that distribution out.
Even it's just so good. Grocery store. Yeah. I mean, it could be a thing, man.
Absolutely. But my elderberry syrup, we did this as an adoption fundraiser this last year. It's really good. It works.
Potent.
It's potent. Yeah. And it really does boost that immunity. But this is not, I think we'd lean in on you selling salsa instead of me doing Celebrate. I just do it now. In the future, it wouldn't be a fundraiser.
Yeah.
And I'd probably just charge friends like at cost.
Well, a lot of it too is like, well, you're going to make, a bunch for us.
Yeah, it makes sense
all
to
right,
just
I'll
make
just
some
buy
extra.
the huge bag.
Yeah.
And then I'll just make some for more people, and now it pays for
And
us.
now they don't have to make it too.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's what I do. Okay, next. Number 13. We're making our way down. Interest from our bank accounts. Oh, okay. This was different from earlier. The taxable investment income. That was.
Oh, yeah.
This is different. So this is
the bank.
The full rainy day fund is earning 5.5% in a Betterment bank account.
Mm.
And I've told people about that on our email list before. If that sounds like it's running laps around your emergency fund savings account, then we'll include a link below this show in the show notes for you to check out. Because I think, again, it's one of those things where you'll get like a 0.5% extra, and I think we'll get 0.5% extra.
Oh.
Yeah, for like 90 days or something.
Oh, okay.
They cap that thing.
Like, everybody click that link, get us the 300%.
Yeah, no, they cap that. Our checking is, I think, earning 4%. 4%. So anyway, we get income from that throughout the year.
Yeah. And that's another one, like maybe you gotta like switch your bank or something. But then it's just doing it.
Yeah.
It's not, again, 5% of your checking account or 4% of your checking account's not going to pay all your bills.
It's going to pay
but it's going to pay 4%
over the course of a bill,
so
the course of a year.
Good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, next, ShareTown.
Oh. We'll talk about it a little bit. We have an episode about this coming up.
This is going to be a podcast episode of itself. Again, if all went to hell in a handbasket, this one was a super fun side hustle that we piloted and tried and tested for our Catholic Money Academy members.
Uh-huh.
And we had a really good time doing it. Mm-hmm. And it was pretty dang easy.
Yep. So the shtick is, we won't get into all the details of when we did it, but the shtick is, you see all that stuff where it's like, hey, try it in your house for, this mattress in your house for a year and let us know if you don't like it.
When they pick up oversized items.
Yeah.
And instead of sending it back to the manufacturer, the manufacturer gives that refund because the person,
yeah, they give the refund. It gets
returned
picked up.
It, but then a ShareTown rep takes that, sanitizes it, lists it, sells it, pays ShareTown a cut, and then you keep the rest.
Yeah, because Casper, whoever it is, they can't resell that mattress.
No.
It's already been used.
Yeah.
So it's a way to get it, get it resold. They're just outsourcing, the collection and the resale to this other company, which then has other people do it. It was easy.
Yeah. Now they don't have to pay to go track it down and bring it back and store it.
And what's great is you're selling a mattress, and like a nice one. Mm-hmm. So you ain't making $5.
Yeah, you're making hundreds.
It was great.
So yeah, I think it averaged out to be like $30 an hour.
Yeah, keep your ears open for that episode coming soon.
Mm-hmm. All right. Last and certainly not least, was we own WalletWin, our business income. So WalletWin is, it's an S Corp.
Last but most.
S Corp, last but most. And then Salt Pinch Creative Co. is your LLC that you own for graphic design and website building. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we have the S Corp and the LLC.
And that second one, right? The graphic and web design work is certainly a lever that we pull.
Sure. Yeah.
Now, there's times where it's like people just come and ask, like, yeah, that sounds fun, or the thing you're doing sounds really cool. I'd like to help make that an actual thing, not just your idea. So I'll take on the work. But then there have certainly been times it's like, ooh, what are we going to do here? Mm-hmm. And then I go make some websites, and then we pay for stuff.
Right. I want to say, yeah, most of the time it's just people seeking you out
Mm-hmm.
and then you deciding if you can, ethically
If I can squeeze them in.
give them the time to actually, and it's usually purpose driven. Like you only work with businesses that you care about.
Yes.
And you like their mission,
Mhm.
etc. But
It's usually those other Catholic organizations and entrepreneurs.
yeah, I want to say around the pandemic a few years ago,
Yes.
we didn't know how that was
We
going to
didn't know
shake
what
out.
the heck was going on.
We didn't know what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Just with the economy. So you went out, I think it might have been the only time you were really boots on the ground finding people
Yes.
to do work
Mhm.
for. And then just from that, it's been word of mouth ever since.
Yeah, it's been cool.
Yeah, it's really fun. I love seeing other brands that you've worked on, like at conferences
Yeah,
or,
that was cool.
other people talking about or sharing their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's always really fun. So there we go.
Wow.
That is the sources of income.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's pop back. I'm gonna pop back into the notes now that the surprises are done. And we've got a few other things actually.
They're pretty quick.
Yeah. We're getting recession-proofing your income. So all of that, all those fun details, that was just the diversify your income. Have a lot of things going and even maybe identify which ones you can go to and really pour in your time and attention when it's time to make them perform. Other things are going to be having your rainy day fund, right? That is what made everything possible for us. Lost the job. We're trying to get wallet wins started. Whatever, little bit of severance mixed with whatever teeny bit wallet win was doing at the beginning, mixed with our emergency savings was what allowed us to keep going.
Yep.
And do what we ended up doing.
Yep.
Without that, we couldn't.
Oh, we wouldn't be here. No, we wouldn't have been here. Or we would have had to sell our house or do something really, really drastic. And maybe we would have done that.
So so then again, this is, and you're like, oh, well, is that savings? You're talking about income. Well, where do you think all that savings came from? From our income. So it's right. You're just taking some of your income and putting it later, but when you need a little extra, and that's what savings is. So yeah, you got to have that, get to that spot in the money milestones where you can really grow that full rainy day fund of 4 to 6 months of expenses.
Yep. All right. And this is last and certainly not least, this final one. I want to talk about contentment. So how to recession proof your income. I think that there is all these strategies we can do around the money, right? But at the end of the day, we can't always control those external things, but we can control and work on our interior life and the contentment that we experience, no matter what is going on with the economy or our income. The fruits of detachment and spiritual poverty, this is what we're called to as disciples. But what it really means is just renouncing ownership of our money. Rather, we view it as God's and that we're just temporary managers of it and that he's just entrusting it to us. And we're detached from it. We are completely dependent on him. And from that, contentment can flow. Because really, it's just we're receiving from him, we're holding loosely and stewarding whatever he's asking us to well, to the best of our ability, and we're kind of returning that back to him. And that right there breeds contentment and gratitude within us. And then it helps us to weather the ups and downs of the economic cycle. So we've done a podcast episode on this, but I think it's worth diving back into. Philippians chapter 4, verses 10 through 14. A lot of people will always just cherry pick one line out of here. And
what's one of Paul's famous lines?
Oh my, it might be his most
I've seen
famous.
it on the t-shirt.
It might be
I'm sure there's some
And the
tattoos.
line is this: I can do all things in Christ who strengthens me. Okay, people will use that and they apply it to everything. And
Which is true.
And I think you could.
Yes.
But if we really look at the context of scripture, Paul is talking about money. 100%. Listen to this. I rejoice greatly in the Lord that now at last you You revived your concern for me. You were, of course, concerned about me, but lacked an opportunity. Not that I say this because of need, for I've learned in whatever situation I find myself to be self-sufficient. I know indeed how to live in humble circumstances. I know also how to live with abundance. In every circumstance and in all things, I have learned the secret of being well fed and of going hungry, of living in abundance and of being in need. I have the strength for everything through him who empowers me. Still, it was kind of you to share in my distress. He's talking to them about they wanted to financially support him because he came and blessed them so much, and they wanted to make an offering and they weren't able to do it when he was there, but they were able to scrounge it up and give it to him later. And he's talking to them about that and how he has really just learned the secret. He talks about the secret, and it's just being rooted in Jesus Christ and receiving everything from him with that contented, grateful, humble servant's heart, and just trusting in providence, whether it's manifesting itself as abundance or it's manifesting itself in need. Both of those can bless us. Both of those can grow us. Both of those can be used to our advantage as disciples. Again, Ignatius talked about that. Prefer neither riches nor poverty. We're detached. And I think that spirit, it can go a long way if we go into a recession. In a recession, things get really hard. Things can get choppy. You could be faced with really hard and humbling things. You might have to sell your house. You might not be able to pay your mortgage. You might have to go to a food pantry. I don't know, but these could be very difficult things depending on who you are, your circumstances, your personality, etc. A recession could bring about some things that the flesh in you is rejecting and doesn't want anything to do with. But if you've cultivated a spirit of contentment within you and you've abandoned to the Lord's will, even in the ugliest of circumstances, you will still be at peace. And that is priceless.
Yeah.
So that right there, I mean, that one's not so strategic. It's not really pulling strings around the money.
Recession-proof your heart.
Exactly. Our heart should not be disturbed if in a recession or when things are going well. Our heart should just be content, resting in Christ. Always.
I'll tell you what, man.
What?
Don't mean to offend anybody who loves St. Thomas Aquinas, but I feel a little bit like St. Thomas Aquinas right now.
Why is that?
You know,
that's bold.
He has this, I know, huh? He had this like vision of heaven when he comes back. Like, what's going on? He said, oh, I saw all this stuff, and everything I've done, everything I've written, it's as useless as straw. As low as straw compared to all this. Like the whole front top of this episode, straw compared to this. Good thing we didn't lead with this. It would have been the whole episode.
Sure.
But it's that powerful. I mean, I just feel it when he's saying the secret. I got the secret to being well fed. Here's the secret of going hungry. Oh my goodness. Like crazy stuff's going to happen in the world and in your life. Big whoop. This isn't how to recession proof your income and never feel any sort of suffering or want or downturn in your life. It's how to strengthen what you've got and the way you use it, so that when those times come, you can continue to provide for those under your charge and not be so disturbed that you lose your peace and through it your salvation.
Amen. Right? Because in recessionary times, the stats don't lie. Suicides go up. Despair reigns. We want to reject that. No. Our peace is not up for auction. It's not. And we have learned the secret to being content in abundance and in hard times.
That's right. Now, I just want to call back, though, to that one of those first ones we talked about of budgeting, of being able to identify your income, identify your needs, your wants, what you have to do with it, and then making the plan to do those things. And so if that is a new concept to you or one you want to strengthen, we've got the Catholic Budget Guide waiting for you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's free. We walk you through in the videos. We tell you how to budget step by step. Just go to catholicbudgetguide.com and you'll find it right there. It's catholicbudgetguide.com.
Until next time, bye for now.
This episode was brought to you by The Loop by Catholic Vote. Become a Looper today at gettheloop.com.